What up guys, Artfridge here. Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be reading a nice little bedtime story for one of the legend characters. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So today we're going to be reading the biography of Viego the Ruined King. If you guys want more content like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel. And without further ado, let's get right into the story. So, few know of the kingdom to the east, far across the seas, whose name lies all but forgotten among the ruins that dot its shores. Fewer still know of its foolish young ruler, whose love-struck heart was doomed to destroy it. Now a grave threat to all, that man name was, and is, Viego. The second son of a dynastic king, Viego was never intended to lead. Instead, he lived a life of comfort that made him complacent and selfish. Yet, when his older brother died unexpectedly, Viego, who possessed neither the inclination nor the aptitude for rulership, suddenly found himself crowned. He showed little interest in his position until he met a poor seamstress, Isolde. So taken was he by her beauty that the young king offered her his hand in marriage, and thus one of the most powerful rulers of the age was wed to a peasant girl. Their romance was enchanting, and Viego, who'd rarely shown interest in anyone other than himself, devoted his life to her. The two were inseparable. He scarcely went anywhere without Isolde, always lavishing gifts upon his queen, and his attention could seldom be broken when she was present. Viego's allies fumed, unable to interest him in governance, and with the nation beginning to unravel under his questionable rulership, some plotted in secret to end the new king's reign before it had begun. His nation's enemies, meanwhile, saw an opportunity to strike, and the vipers began to circle. Thus did an assassin's poisoned dagger one day came for Viego. But the king was well defended, and the dagger did not strike true, instead grazing Isolde. The toxin worked quickly, and Isolde fell into a ruinous torpor, while Viego could only watch in horror as his wife's condition grew ever more serious. Overwhelmed with fury and despair, he spent every last coin within his coffers trying to save her. But it was all for naught. His soul perished in her bed, and Viego was consumed by madness. His search for an antidote became desperate, crazed, unable to accept his wife's death. Every treasure of the kingdom, every scrap of wealth was sacrificed to his quest to return her to him. As the land fell into disarray, Viego hid himself away with Isolde's body, becoming hateful and violent. Then came the day he learned the secret of the Blessed Isles, of its water that healed any ailment. With his great army he stormed the peaceful country by force, slaughtering anyone who stood in his way until he at last breached its inner sanctum and let his wife drift beneath the blessed water. She would return to him no matter the destruction he wrought, no matter the cost. For just one moment she did. Isolde arose a horrifying wraith of shadow and rage, and in her pain, her anger, her confusion at being ripped from death, she took Viego's own enchanted blade and thrust it through his heart. The magic of the waters and the ancient sword clashed, and the chamber's energy erupted, tearing across the aisles, trapping everything it touched in tortured conscious undeath. Yet of this Viego remembers nothing. His country collapsed into ruin, great nations rose and fell, and in time, even his name was forgotten. Until, 1,000 years after his death, Viego stood once more, and this time he would not fail. His mind twisted by the same dangerous obsession he possessed in life, Viego's unflinching deranged love fuels his every action, his every desire, his every atrocity. The deadly black mist pours freely from Viego's broken heart, ripping the life from everything it touches, and he uses the mist to scour the world for some way to return his soul to his side. Legions will fall before him, only to rise again in his service. Continents will be swallowed by living darkness. The world will pay for every moment of happiness it stole from an ancient ruler laid low by all-consuming love. He cares not for the destruction he causes, so as long as he can see Isolde's face again. His reign is terror, his love is eternal, and until Isolde returns to him, all will fall before the Rune King. And that's good. And that is it for Viego's bio. This overall brief overall gives a brief overall this bio gives a brief representation of who Viego is, where he came from, and what made and the things that made him the person that he is in the League of Legends story today. So from this we can summarize that Viego was once a selfish ruler who soon changed who after meeting the love of his life changed completely. Doing in which he devoted his entire life to his queen. In which after the death of his queen, we can assume that from this we can all assume that because of his death, Viego changed once again into the murderous, bloodthirsty tyrant that he is now, all because of the death of the love of his life. So what we can take from this, love can change people in many different ways, in ways that we can never possibly imagine. Could be for good, could be for bad, which this Viego's story represents both. How love changed him from a selfish man into a person full of love and discipline, and a wanting need to always please his love, in which love can also change you into someone that you weren't before, someone who would do anything for their love, even if it means killing their own, even if it means slaughtering an entire nation in order to bring her back. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this little story. Tomorrow I will be reading Viego's color story, just kind of showing the basis of what he is doing right now. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Farewell.